Have you ever looked out your window on one of those brutally cold winter days and you see this tiny little bird all fluffed up and just wonder, how in the world are they doing that? How does something so small, so seemingly fragile, survive the absolute worst that winter can throw at it? Well, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible story of their survival.
And this right here is the central puzzle. It's a question that honestly seems to defy biology itself. We're not just talking about being a little chilly. We're talking about a massive, non-stop battle against an insane temperature difference that these little guys face every single day.
I mean, just look at the numbers here. A bird has to keep its core temperature almost 150 degrees warmer than the air around it. Think about that. It's like a tiny, flying furnace, and keeping that furnace roaring requires a ridiculous amount of fuel.
So, to really solve this puzzle, you've got to understand the three huge hurdles every single bird is up against. The relentless biting cold, the fact that food is incredibly hard to find, and the dangerously short winter days they have to find it in.
To put that energy need into perspective, get a load of this. To generate enough heat to survive, a small bird's daily calorie requirement is the human equivalent of eating 67,000 calories. That's like eating 27 large pizzas every single day. And they have to find all that fuel when it's buried under snow and ice. So how on earth do they pull it off?
Well, the first part of the answer lies in their gear. Birds are basically wearing some of the most high-tech winter clothing on the entire planet, and it's all made out of feathers.
It's this brilliant two-layer system you see. They have these tough, waterproof outer feathers that act like a windbreaker shell. But underneath, there's a soft, downy base layer that traps a pocket of warm air right next to their skin. For winter, a lot of birds actually grow up to 30% more of these insulating feathers. And that puffed up look you see? That's not a fat bird, that's a smart bird. It's fluffing up to trap even more air, cutting its heat loss by a third.
But feathers are just the outer layer. The truly mind-blowing stuff, the things that make you go, no way, are the hidden superpowers of engineering happening inside their bodies.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. Their bodies are wrapped up in this perfect down coat, but their legs and feet, they're completely bare, standing right on ice or frozen metal. By all logic, they should freeze solid in minutes, but they don't. So why not?
The answer is this incredible feat of biological engineering with a super fancy name, countercurrent heat exchange. It's basically a radiator in reverse, an internal heat recycling system built right into their legs. It's genius.
Okay, here's how it works, and it's so cool. Warm blood flows down from the body in arteries that are literally wrapped around the veins carrying cold blood back up. As they pass each other, the heat just naturally transfers from the warm blood to the cold blood. This pre-warms the blood before it gets back to the body, which stops their core temperature from taking a dangerous dive. It's an unbelievably efficient system that lets their feet stay just above freezing without wasting precious energy.
But even with perfect insulation and this ingenious circulation system, the long 16-hour winter night is the ultimate test. So, what is their biggest, most important secret for making it through to the morning?
The answer is a state called torpor. Now, this isn't just sleep. You can think of it as a controlled, nightly mini hibernation. A bird like a chickadee can voluntarily drop its body temperature by almost 20 degrees, from a fiery 107 degrees down into the 80s. This slams the brakes on its metabolism, saving a massive amount of life-sustaining energy. And how much of a difference does this really make? Well, research modeling the benefits found that torpor can boost the small bird's chance of surviving the winter by an incredible 58%. Now, it's a huge gamble. It leaves them sluggish and vulnerable at dawn, but those energy savings often mean the difference between life and death.
Okay, so their physical adaptations are amazing, right? But all that brawn is nothing without brains. Winter survival also depends on some serious intelligence, strategy, and an absolutely extraordinary memory. See, for the birds that stick around all winter, survival isn't just a day-to-day hunt for whatever food they can find. No, it's a months-long chess match that requires planning way, way in advance. You might want to sit down for this. A single chickadee will spend its entire fall hiding up to 80,000 individual seeds in thousands of different locations, under bits of bark, in tiny crevices, scattered all across its territory. And then, it remembers where they are. To pull this off, the memory center of their brain, the hippocampus, actually grows in size each fall. It's like they're installing a GPS upgrade just for the winter.
And beyond that amazing memory, birds use a whole toolkit of smart behaviors. They'll huddle together in these tight little groups to share precious body heat. They find shelter in old tree cavities, which can be 10 degrees warmer than the open air. And some, like grouse, will even dive headfirst into a snowbank, using the snow itself as a perfect insulating igloo.
You know, when you understand these incredible survival strategies, you realize just how much is on the line for these birds every single day. And the really great news is there are simple, super effective ways we can help tip the scales in their favor.
It really all boils down to one thing: calories. Providing high-energy food is the single most important thing you can do. The best beds are foods that are packed with fat and oil. Black oil sunflower seeds are a fantastic all-around choice that pretty much every bird loves. And suet is basically a pure energy bar for birds like woodpeckers and chickadees.
Food is crucial, we know that. But the one thing that often gets overlooked is water. As the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says, clean, thawed water is absolutely vital. Birds need it for drinking, sure, but also for bathing to keep those all-important feathers in perfect insulating condition. A heated bird bath can be a literal lifesaver.
And finally, you can help them find shelter from the storm. Even a simple brush pile in the corner of your yard can offer life-saving protection from wind and predators. Planting dense evergreens gives birds a safe, sheltered place to hang out. And a dedicated roosting box can provide a critical refuge for a whole group of birds to huddle together on the very coldest nights.
So, the next time you see that tiny chickadee at your feeder, I really hope you see it a little differently. You're not just looking at some casual visitor hoping for a quick snack.
You are witnessing an elite athlete at the absolute peak of its performance. It's a master of survival, using this complex suite of tools, its feathers, its physiology, and its incredible intelligence, all honed over millions of years of evolution. It is a tiny feathered marvel.
Every single winter day is a fight for life. Now that you know their secrets, their unbelievable resilience, and their remarkable adaptations, the only question left is, what role are you going to play in their story?